about it. Green is still out. Keep racing. Yellow's out.
Denny Hamlin spinning around, contact, chain reaction on the restart here. And Hamlin, who was the leader, Montoya behind him, Jimmy Johnson behind him, and there's damage now on his Toyota.
Yeah, he caught the end of that pit wall, and it's made some significant damage to the front end. Man, what a bad break for Hamlin.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good break for Tony Stewart. Now he does get that lap back.
Yeah, Montoya got a good run, and he was being pushed by Jimmy Johnson, and it looked like as Hamlin tried to make a block on those guys that there was some contact.
Yeah, the 48 and 42 were in contact as they came across the start-finish line on the restart. Show you again what happened as Hamlin takes his car directly back to the garage area to get some repairs. Here they are coming down and coming across. Now watch the right side of your screen, the 42 and 48.
Montoya was there.
Yeah, and he was getting a good push from Jimmy. You see, that's where the damage comes from, the end of that pit wall. If he just could have slid just a little bit farther, he'd have been okay.
Mark Martin's vantage point looking down, and you see the contact there as Hamlin goes sliding.
I don't really understand it. If you're wanting to protect that inside, why don't you get down there and start there? He had his choice as to where to start, so I think that right there was just a mistake by Denny Hamlin.
Just a slight miscalculation.
Yeah.
There's the impact against the end of the pit wall. Pretty significant impact. Remember, even though the restart, they're still going well over 100 miles an hour.
Oh, man, if he could have just gone just another foot or two, he could have missed that and had no damage at all. Tough break for Hamlin.
He came in here sixth in the chase points and is headed back to the garage area to make as many repairs as they possibly can. He was the pole sitter today and had led 4 times for 21 laps. Not been a good weekend for Denny Hamlin. Yesterday in the Nationwide car, he had climbed in as a substitute driver for Kyle Busch driving the 18 car.
Racing hard. These guys trying to go for the win. Greg Biffle jumps up on the outside of Brad Keselowski and Denny Hamlin. Denny didn't see him.
And moments ago, as the race leader on the restart, there's contact in the 42 and the 11, and Hamlin goes sliding across the grass, and his unlucky day again, just catching the end of the pit wall. And they've taken that car back to the garage to hurriedly try to make some repairs. We'll see what Mike Ford and the guys can do with this 11 car.
Yeah, they're just going to try to minimize the damage. I mean, there's nothing to do but just try to get it back out there. I want to try to see this 42 car now. He had a pretty significant contact now with that right front corner. Just want to see if there's any damage to his car. Looks pretty clean from this shot. He hit that left rear pretty hard there of Hamlin's.
So caution now for the 5th time a day involving 3 of our chase and championship contenders. Denny Hamlin's car now in the garage area.
Welcome back to Auto Club Speedway. It's the 4th race in the chase, and it has taken a bad turn for Denny Hamlin as you see his FedEx crew working on his car after damage to the front end. And the double file restarts, always dangerous. Denny, what happened from your perspective?
Just made a rookie mistake. I thought I was clear of the 42 and he was getting a run, and I think the 48 was pushing him and just came right across his nose. I thought I was clear and just misjudged it. But got to apologize to the team. They deserve better than that. They got me out front, and just bad mistake.
Disappointing for Denny Hamlin, his crew working feverishly to try to get this car back out there for as many points as possible here, but certainly not the way they wanted this day to go on.
Vince, thank you. Very honest answer by Denny Hamlin, apologizing to his team and admitting that it was, as you said, DJ, he just made a mistake.
Yeah, you're going to do that sometimes. I mean, it's just going to happen. As long as you're going to drive race cars and put yourself up there in those type of positions, then things are going to happen. And sometimes you really have to know kind of who you're racing around.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm going to turn left in front of somebody, there's Juan Montoya would be the top of the list of people I wouldn't do it to, because he's not going to back off. I mean, he is going to stick it in there, and if he's got you by a quarter of an inch, he's got you by a quarter of an inch.
We do see him, Montoya here. He is the leader of the race, and he has chosen that inside line. So he's been paying attention to what you were saying earlier.
He has. He was paying attention to what just happened.
Jimmy Johnson will start beside him on the outside line, then Mark Martin and Kevin Harvick behind them. Denny Hamlin, by the way, had moved to within 74 points of the lead here in this championship chase. We talked about how close the points were coming in, and now sitting back in the garage area, he's going to lose at least 3 positions, if not more, before this day is done.
Yeah, and as Andy pointed out, too, a huge break for Tony Stewart. He took that chance on that waiver round. Now he's been able to get in and get tires and is back on the lead lap.
Stewart showing back in 22nd position. Down for the restart here. 57 laps to go. Inside lane, there's Martin, there's Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson trying to hang it up high. Montoya now has the advantage off of turn 1.
Now you can see the advantage for the inside lane is really good getting down to the corner. Seems like if you can run that outside good on the first lap, you can make up some ground coming off of 2. Man, look at Harvick, 3 wide.
All the way under the 24 car of Gordon for position. Gordon going down on the apron of the racetrack. Up front, Jimmy Johnson going to the high side and sails by Montoya. Great action all around the pack here. That's the top 2 right there. And then about 15 car lengths back to Martin. Kurt Busch in the 2 car now has gotten his car dialed in. And behind him is the 24 car.
I was watching Matt Kenseth there on the restart. You see, he got the lap, the lucky dog back on lap 184. Got himself back on the lead lap.
And he's running 11th right now.
Yeah, he just sailed around cars on the outside, up in 1 and 2. Picked up 8 spots since the restart.
Matt Kenseth won this race back in the spring from 24th. He has also won here in California from 25th and from 31st. No one's been able to do it from further in the pack than this guy. He has a way of somehow getting his car back to the front.
That's amazing. I mean, he was just nowhere about 20 laps ago. Here comes Gordon on the outside of Kurt Busch.
4th position for Gordon going by, taking it away. Nine car, Casey Kane, and now the 17 trying to make a move, and that's for 9th position.
Yeah, they just split Greg Biffle and sent him back. See Jeff Burton in this mix too. Good run for him today.
And look at Matt Kenseth go. That's just incredible.
Jeff Burton, you can see him giving a little push to Casey Kane. That sends him out in front through the center of the corner. See if Matt Kenseth make that bottom work and make the pass. Now here comes Casey Kane back on the outside.
See a gaggle of cars coming off the corner right here. Oh, man, that's coming
3 wide. Biffle in the middle of that bunch. Truex on the bottom. Here
look
comes
at Ambrose
Marcus
coming up on the outside, man. What a great run he's having today.
God.
The prediction was that racing would be much, much better than we've seen at California Speedway because of the cooler conditions and the earlier start time later in the year, and it has certainly been that and more. Great racing. Marcus Ambrose now underneath the 31 car for position. That's for 11th spot. The 83 car, Brian Vickers, back in 30th position with more issues. Jamie.
Many issues. His car was bouncing around like crazy, and for good reason. This right rear shock is broken. The tower broke. It is out of his car. That means there is no right rear shock. In order to compensate, he came in 3 different times. They put 4 spring rubbers in there. Believe it or not, he says the car feels better right now. Andy, I know you guys laughed at me when I said he didn't have a shock.
Yeah, you said he was missing a right rear shock. I didn't know. He really is. I mean, you can see right there, she's holding the shock in the mount where you can see where it tore out of the frame. That's going to be, obviously you can't fix that without coming to the garage and welding a new mount on, so they're just going to make the best of it.
3 wide here, 33, couple of teammates, Boyer, Burton, and there goes Biffle, the 3 Bs, battling for position there, and that is 13th, 14th, and 15th.
It's just wild racing right now. You see, whoever can get that run and make it happen. Looks like they're 10 miles an hour faster all of a sudden.
8th and 9th, left side of your screen, Casey Kane and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Casey Kane's come to life here. His car hasn't been very good. We watched him a lot of the day. His car just hasn't been all that good. In fact, they made some adjustments that are suiting him right now. There's Matt Kenseth still on the bottom, making his way forward. It's like Junior's struggling right now, trying to make that high line work.
We have had 23 lead changes among 9 different drivers. Jimmie Johnson has led 8 times for 87 laps. Folks, 50 laps to go here at California.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series on ABC. Brought to you by Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world. Learn more at refresheverything.com/racing. Bank of America, the official bank of NASCAR. Goodyear, innovative technology to help you get there. And Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side.
Folks, we are setting up for what could be a wild finish here in the Pepsi 500 at California. Why? Because, you know, Jimmie Johnson as our leader, Andy Petrie, these guys have got to make one more pit stop with roughly 20 laps to go.
Yeah, around 20 to go. They got to make a pit stop, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of strategies they use if it goes green all the way. I saw Tony Stewart make a pit stop with about 48 laps to go. That's still a little bit too far to try to make it unless he could really throttle it back and try to stretch it. It'd be almost impossible to make that many, though.
The 2 car, we talked about how Kurt Busch and his team have kept battling. Last week they came from 39th to finish 11th. Today from outside the top 20, now to be shown in 5th position.
They've done it with good pit work. Every time we put the top 5 pit crews, pit stops up on the screen, and he has been at the top.
And it looks like maybe they've been, kind of tiptoeing with their adjustments, but each one getting a little bit better, and his car seems to be the best right now that he's been throughout the race.
A couple of Roush Fenway drivers, and we talked about the chronology of the 17 car coming from a lap down, getting back on the lead lap, and now Matt Kenseth driving that car back toward the top 10. He was in 10th, now being shown in the 11th spot. Biffle back in 12th.
Marcus Ambrose has driven his car into the top 10. Having a great race so far.
See Kenseth really fighting his car right now. Looks like he's extremely loose. He was really fast when those tires were fresh. It seems to be going away from him a little bit, as is Greg Biffle a little bit. Oh, Sam Hornish a minute ago, I believe, coming off of turn 4. Watch him as he's racing with David Rudeman right here. Oh yeah.
Wow. God, look at the smoke coming off that right rear.
Man,
that's cool.
They wasn't over yet down in turn 2. He was all the way up across the racetrack.
Ooh, that's not cool.
That smoke coming off the right rear reminded me of Dale Earnhardt. We used to have bi-sply tires. He'd just smoke the right rear, wouldn't he?
He could. I remember Darlington, he could smoke that right rear all the way through the corner.
Sam Hornish, who finished 5th at Michigan, the sister track to this one, another 2-mile D-shaped oval, trying to hold on and get a good finish here today, being shown in 22nd position on the lead lap. Jimmie Johnson, our leader, 43 laps to go, trying to do it 2 years in a row here at the home racetrack. Dave?
Doc, you talked about that final pit stop. Communication between driver and pit crew crucial before they come in. And the 48 team had an open radio channel, like a microphone was opening and sticking here in the pits. It's made it difficult recently. And here was Chad's words to everybody in their pit box after it happened the last time.
This pit stop, everybody that is not a part of the team turns the radio off. Truck drivers, Malik, whoever, I want everybody that's got a 48 radio on to turn it off and just take them back to the truck unless they're part of the pit crew. Everybody.
All right, so non-essential personnel turned off their radios. They believe they have it corrected. Why? Because it hasn't happened since. So that's good news for communication as we get down to the end of this race.
I can tell you that is one of the most aggravating things that you can deal with during the race if you have a radio. Though sometimes you can have up to 18, 20 radios on your channel, and if one of them hangs up, nobody can talk to each other, and it's very, very frustrating.
And as a driver, you're hearing something, you're not able to hear your spotter through those times. It's really distracting, and obviously you can't have the communication that you need, but it's totally distracting as a driver as you have that in your ear.
Talked about Tony Stewart and the efforts he had made, this team had made. They were back in 29th position, a lap down because of a speeding penalty exiting pit road. Got the wave around, got back on the lead lap, and has now driven this number 14 car back in the top 20 at 18th position. There's Carl Edwards trying to take that 18th spot away.
Yeah, we saw Carl earlier up in the top 10 running around the 8th spot, and looked like he was they had things kind of figured out, but he's certainly fallen back since then.
Well, this has been a team this year that's just been a little bit off, just a half a tooth off somewhere.
Yeah, they said that they wanted to make a big swing at things, and I think their swing might have been a strike, swing and a miss here,
or
because
a foul.
It really hasn't helped them at all.
Vince?
Well, guys, and Andy, I know you could probably speak to this as a crew chief, but it's got to be frustrating when they know what their problem. They've been fighting loose all day long. Every single time Carl comes on the radio, it almost identical feedback, but they can't get the car to grip. That's been the issue. Loose, lack of overall grip. They've tweaked on it, and tweaked on it, and they just haven't been able to make any headway for him.
Yeah, Vince, you're just limited on what you can do during the race. I mean, you can't change springs, you can't change sway bars, you can't change shocks, the things that you would love to do. You can only turn the jack screws on the wedge and the track bar and change the air pressures, and sometimes the car will not respond to that.
Let's update Ryan Newman's day in the 39 car. There's a 39 right side of your screen. Ryan being shown back in the 16th position. He had an issue early on with the right front tire, brought out the caution flag.
Yeah, he went down early, but he's made a lot of headway back now on the lead lap in 16th spot. Still got some time to make up some more.
The top 5 cars right now are all chase contenders. Jimmy Johnson is our leader. 2.6-second margin between Johnson and Juan Pablo Montoya in 2nd spot. Then Mark Martin is 3rd. Jeff Gordon 4th. Kurt Busch is 5th. And the car that's running back in 6th position is a local boy from Bakersville, California. We keep talking about what a great job Casey Mears has done here in the last 5 or 6 races. Vince.
Well, and Casey Mears says the car's just a little bit too free from the center off, but it's not bad. And I'll tell you, when you up and down pit road, you hear some of the comments from some of these guys. So when you hear one actually say it's not bad, then that generally means it's pretty good. And as you said, Doc, he's had some good runs here, but they just really haven't had the results to show for it. They really believe that today they may finally get that good result that they've deserved for so many other times here. Well, wouldn't it be good to get it in front of the home fans here in Bakersfield?
I mean, right now he would equal his best finish of the year, which was a 6th at Michigan, a track very similar to this one. And here's the 11 car after a minus some of the front sheet metal of Denny Hamlin coming back on the racetrack. Hamlin being shown now in 36th position. Back up front, it is Jimmy Johnson trying to hold on for the final 36 laps here. Back after this message and a word from our ABC station. Laps clicking away here at the Pepsi 500 at California. Jimmy Johnson is our leader. Juan Pablo Montoya 2nd. Gordon Martin and Kurt Busch at top 5. And folks, a week ago it was the final pit stop of the day at Kansas Speedway that determined who was going to win this race. Win that race, and of course the money stop coming up here just a few laps from now. What are they thinking about in the 48 pits? Dave.
Well, Doc, I was going to ask our expert crew chief what they might do, because remember what bit Chad Knaus last week, middle of the race. He gave his driver 4 tires, but cost him track position, and he apologized to him on the radio. End of the race, he took 2 and got beat by the guys that took on 4 tires. Andy, what do you do?
Well, I'm going to get 4, Dave. I'm going to stop a little bit early, get 4 tires. If it goes green, I'm not going to run my tank completely out of fuel. I'm going to try to stop just a little bit early and then get those 4 tires and try to force some other guys to get on pit road. That's what I'm doing if I'm Chad Knaus.
Remember, this 48 team, they've had some issues, not major issues, but some subtle issues with some of their pit stops today, which have cost them positions on the yellow flag pit stops.
But boy, they've had a car that can overcome all of that. I mean, they have lost quite a few spots on pit road. Jimmy just goes back out on the racetrack and just gets them all back.
Yeah, and I think the key thing you said there, Andy, was force the other guy's hands. Every time we've seen green flag pit stops, as soon as the leader starts coming in, everybody hits pit road because the new tires make so much of a difference for a number of laps, and you can't give up that time.
It's 30 laps to go right now, so you're looking at they can probably go another 10, maybe a few laps past that, but I would start thinking about coming down pit road in the next 2 or 3 laps.
There's Mark Martin coming by, so it's Johnson, Montoya, Gordon, Martin, and Kurt Busch. The top 5 are all chase contenders. Mears 6, Casey Kane up in the 7th.
Right now, I'm thinking, I'm on the box, I'm thinking, okay, if I can't beat Jimmy any other way, I mean, you can see he's faster than everybody, but if I pit right now and come down pit road and get 4 tires, I'm going to go out there and make up a lot of time, and if it goes green, I might have a shot of beating him. Some of the guys in the top 5 here, top 6, that want to gamble, this is their opportunity right now.
Would it be Montoya? How about Jeff Gordon, a teammate? Could Martin do that? Right now, Jimmy Johnson has taken the points lead here. The 83 car, Brian Vickers, we told you that they had a shock issue, and they were certainly having some problems. They had to put rubbers in the right rear just to keep the car on the racetrack. Let's update exactly what happens. We'll go down to Tim Brewer in our Craftsman Tech garage.
Thanks, Jerry. This is the actual shock absorber that came off the car. But in this area right here, there's a couple of different ways that teams use for mounting the shock absorbers. This is mounted on a stud. But a lot of teams actually put a piece of tubing through this particular piece of tubing, insert the bolt over here in a hex formation to where you don't have to hold it on that side. You just simply put the shock absorber up there and bolt the thing up. But each team has different methods of affixing the shock absorbers to the race cars.
Thank you, Tim. And of course, if the mount breaks, and as DJ and Andy were talking about, the only option you got is to take it to the garage and weld it, but you don't have time to do that during the race.
Nope, and he's actually not running too bad. They've kind of patched it up a little bit and running pretty decent without that shock.
Remember, these guys were able to get in a chase by changing an axle on pit road at Atlanta. That quick thinking there, changing the axle without losing a lap, is what allowed them to get in the chase by just 9 points over Kyle Busch.
Yeah, but one thing they need to start focusing on is trying to eliminate the failures altogether, not how they react to them.
How soon will Jimmy Johnson come? They're all going to have to come, as you heard Andy Petrie say, probably in the next 7 to 9 laps. Will he come early? Will someone else come before he does?
Here comes Gordon. Racing Montoya now for second. This 24 has been the fastest car on the racetrack here the last 5 or 6 laps.
Jeff Gordon in the same car that finished second here back in February, side by side with Montoya. Every position, every point, very important here in what has been the closest chase in the 6-year history of the postseason for NASCAR. Montoya just drives it right back by him coming up off the corner.
Yeah, it's getting too close to the end of the race to give that spot away. You got to race him hard. I still think that Gordon's going to get by Montoya.
Yeah, this is where he's been better than Montoya. We've watched him gain that time. He's able to really get off this corner, but with Montoya there, he's not going to be able to use the whole racetrack. I thought he was going to use up a lot more. That was really close, but Montoya's really good on the top side down in 1 and 2.
We're losing too much time. This time, let's do it.
There it is. That's Jeff Gordon's crew chief saying, this time, let's do it. We're losing time. He's going to force some of these other leaders to get on pit road.
Yeah, he's going to force his teammate to get on pit road because he's not that far behind. I mean, they're 4 seconds back of Jimmy Johnson, but these tires can make a huge difference, so they're going to have to get here quickly after Jeff Gordon gets on pit road too.
Jeff driving it in the corners, turn 3. He's down on the apron. We'll see just how far he can drive it around before he has to slow up to get on pit road.
Comes pretty good, yeah.
He does a good job right here.
Really good. He's that first pit as they come off.
And down to 55 miles an hour. Jamie.
This has to be the money stop for Jeff Gordon. Made the call right now to come in. 4 tires right now is the call. Fill it up with fuel. Car has been good. He hasn't said a word this stint, and that's the first time all day long. Yep, they're going around the left side. It's 4 tires indeed. In the 88, Dale Earnhardt Jr. decided he wants to come in. Surprisingly, he's been saying this car hasn't been great. You see him slide, lock him up, come into his pit box, take a windshield tear off there, working on the right side. His car has been pretty good. Soaking it up with fuel, going around. It'll be 4 tires for the 88, guys.
Carl Edwards almost missed pit road. He jammed the brakes on it, had a big plume of smoke behind his 99 car.
Yeah, now he's in the pits, and now Jimmy Johnson, our leader, is on pit road.
Vince.
The 99 of Carl Edwards had a bad entry into his pit box last time, cost him some positions. Much smoother this time, but they still are fighting a loose car. Air pressure adjustment all the way around, and chassis as well. Dave?
First, second, and third all on pit road. Jimmy Johnson taking just the air pressure adjustment. Mark Martin wants no adjustments to his race car. Juan Pablo Montoya needs a slight adjustment. His car is loose on the gas. They leave. Mark Martin leaves. Third, it stays. Jimmy Johnson, Juan Pablo Montoya, Mark Martin going off pit road.
3 very good pit stops by the first, second, and third place cars. Good effort by Jimmy Johnson's bunch when they had to get it done. Here is Greg Biffle in the pits.
16 car started loose. Now it's starting to tighten up. They're going to make a wedge adjustment and air pressure. This team has been so solid on pit road. Hopefully Greg Biffle can make up some time on the racetrack.
Money stop, final stop of the day. Here comes the 2 car of Kurt Busch. Let's go back to Shannon.
Kurt Busch is still a little bit concerned about making too many adjustments this late in the game. They want to get it right for the short run, but they're not going to make any changes to this 2 car. Just 4 tires for Kurt Busch at a tear-off. He says he's a little bit loose in and tight in the center. Vince.
The 9 car of Casey Kane, they just keep coming back. They won't go away. Give credit to driver who's been up on the wheel and the crew who continues to get it done. They're making a big air pressure adjustment here. 4 tires for Kane. Still doesn't have enough grip is his comment.
Cycling through, Tony Stewart will be shown as our leader. He has yet to make his final stop. There's the 14 car that has come from a lap down after a speeding penalty the last time he was on pit road to now be the leader here with just 20 laps to go next time by.
I don't know about this strategy of staying out here, Andy.
The only way that it would pay off is if he had any outside chance of making it all the way here, and I don't think he can. Here comes Paul Menard.
Have Ryan McRae there, the rear tire carrier, and we'll watch this pit stop from West Coast viewpoint.
Yeah, you can see right here, the teamwork involved. Coming around to the left side, got to grab that tire off the pit wall. Had just a little hiccup there with the tire changer. They're down and away.
He will leave pit road, and Tony Stewart staying on the racetrack now.
Yeah, he's about a second and a half off of Jimmy Johnson, who's running second.
We should have done it with everybody else there. We're going to have to try to make it the shortest stop as we can.
Yeah, they're still talking about stopping.
Yeah, and they may opt for just 2 tires or something here, or just possibly fuel only. Something like that. Just be on pit road the shortest amount of time and see if they can make up a little bit that way.
Yeah, that may not be a good strategy here because he's going to lose a lot of time, and he's going to be basically in the way of the cars that are running on 4 tires.
I tell you, Stewart, it looks like he can stay out the lap 2:37, but Andy, I agree with you. Everything he's done with Tony Stewart right now doesn't look like it's going to work for him. If he does 2 tires, he'll pick up a little bit of ground out there, but still, the pace is going to be way off those guys with 4 tires. But it looks like me like Johnson and Gordon and Montoya and Martin did the right thing. They stopped about 3 laps short, like you guys were saying. It looks like that's probably going to win them the race.
What Jimmy Johnson and Rusty trying to dodge, he got right up behind the David Gilliland subbing for Kyle Busch, able to get by. Yeah, you're exactly right, Rusty. Last week it was a different story for Tony Stewart. The 2-tire call on the final pit stop with 29 laps though got him the victory at Kansas, but a 2-tire stop here, 2 tires no match for 4 here at California.
Yeah, but Jimmy's having a little trouble here. Plus, Jeff Gordon did a great job on and off pit road. When that whole sequence started, he was 4 seconds back. He's less than 2 seconds behind Jimmy Johnson right now.
See, now Carl Edwards passing Tony Stewart. Now, Tony Stewart does have a 12-second lead. It's going to cost him about 30 to 40 seconds of track time to make that pit stop, even if he just gets fuel.
83 Vickers in for his final stop.
Pressurize it, pressurize it, pressurize it, pressurize it.
Yeah, you can see right there, they got that fuel. They was putting it in there in the cowl area. Must have been right there on the edge of running out.
Inside of 20 laps to go, Tony Stewart just trying to hang on there to his final stop, and as he said on the radio a minute ago to his crew chief Darian Grubb, make it as short as we possibly can.
Yeah, they're coming this time.
4 tires.
We'll see what they're going to do. Probably a 2-tire stop and a can of fuel. It's going to take about 1 full can to make it to the end.
Pitting up at the 4th turn end of pit road, he will come down and have to get down to 55 miles an hour and only have about 200 or 300 yards to go down to his final stop. Let's see what they do. Jamie.
It has been 41 laps since the 14th minute. The audible was four tires and 1 can of fuel. You see him holding the tires on the right side there. It is going to be 4 tires. They must have been listening to you guys, Doc.
I think they thought they were losing just too much time on the racetrack to go with that strategy, so they decided to come in and get those 4 tires.
Well, they did lose too much time. I mean, stayed out there. They were losing a second a lap, and I think that's going to cost them spots on the racetrack, as we have caution on the racetrack right now.
Debris on the back straightaway now with 15 laps to go, and caution being shown for the 6th time today.
Okay, this is going to be interesting right here. Now, Tony Stewart just made that pit stop. He obviously does not need to come in again.
As I look at the running order, I see John Andretti up in the 8th spot. He had stayed out there. He's been battling back and forth on the racetrack all day, getting laps back, taking waiver rounds. But, you know, a nice job by he and his team. Well underfunded team, but making the right calls and having things kind of go their way.
There's Jimmy Johnson, and there was caution. There was debris on the back straightaway, so NASCAR's observers saw that, put it out for the 6th time here. Final 15 laps.
That was the best case scenario for Tony Stewart, to make that stop and then the caution come out.
There's the 34 car that Dale Jarrett was just talking about, John Andretti. He has not come on pit road for his final stop. He last pitted on lap 191.
Well, they just made strategy work all day for them. Obviously hadn't had the fast car, but they've stayed around there and been able to stay on the lead lap and doing things well. And is anybody going to pit here?
Well, it's
up
good.
front.
I doubt it. I don't think you're going to see the leaders pit, but some of the cars that are a little bit back on the lead lap will come in.
We do have 25 cars on the lead lap. Elliott Sadler right now in 25th, the last car on the lead lap.
Right now, Tony Stewart's in 20th spot.
The 44 car down there looking, he's the first car a lap down, Allmendinger.
Yeah, you look at Gordon. Gordon wants to come down pit road.
Well, it's a tough spot when you're that leader once again. Trying to make that call if those guys hang you out there. But we really don't see that happening.
So John Andretti did come on pit road. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 9th place car in. Jamie.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. back again, trying to get more tires. They're getting a little bit fresh rubber. They had nothing to lose there. They've been top 10 all day, and they're going to make it 4 tires again this time, Shannon.
Car's just a little bit tight for Greg Biffle. They're saying they are only going to make a 2-tire change right now for this 16, and that's exactly what it was, guys.
Carl Edwards, he's been loose all day, but now he says it's too tight for the short run, so they're making a wedge adjustment and 4 tires. It's going to be his only chance if he's going to make any noise here at the finish. They've got to get it right on this stop.
So some of these guys at the tail end of the lead lap coming in for 4 fresh tires, and with the double foul restarts on a super speedway like this, these guys can dig these final laps and make up some ground.
See the hood up on this one car. I don't know what the issue is.
Yeah, Doc, you're exactly right about that. That allows these crew chiefs and drivers to take some calculated risk and gambles here because of that double foul restart. You're not nearly as far back, and it will allow you to possibly make something good happen.
And the further back in the lineup, the less you have to lose by making that pit stop. Now, if you're the leader, that's a big decision.
Yeah, it is. And, of course, Junior, he was up in the top 10 whenever he made that decision to come down and get tires here. But we've seen the new tires be extremely fast and make a real difference in speed.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was 9th when he came down pit road. We'll see if he, and remember he took 4 tires, and as you heard, Biffle only took 2. Jimmy Johnson will get the bonus points for leading the most laps today. And let's update what was going on with the 1 car. Vince.
Well, Martin Truex Jr. has had a pretty good run today, but says that the car was missing, so they weren't 100% sure whether it was electrical or a fuel pump issue, but they hope to have that taken care of. They were up under the hood. They'll give an update as Martin gets back up under power here and gets under the gas, but they weren't 100% sure what the issue was.
Well, Vince, I just heard that audio from that engine. It's not electrical. That's a bad sign right there. That's something internal. I'm not going to be able to fix that. It sounds real flat.
Our leader, Jimmy Johnson, then beside him is his teammate, Jeff Gordon. Let's listen to the 24 radio.
Hey,
Kane, you're better than him, buddy. You're better than him. You're catching him. You're leaving the 42. This is going to be a shootout. You're the best here, man. You know how to do it.
Well, this is one of those times that the crew chief's not just pumping his driver up. I mean, he wants to pump him up, but he's telling the truth. His car was faster. And I think that Jimmy Johnson may be playing into Jeff Gordon's hand right here, too. We see him choose that outside lane. Jeff Gordon's car's been really good on the bottom of the racetrack.
Right behind, I tell you what, the 07 car, you can't say enough about what Casey Mears has done, the entire RCR organization. Another California boy, 9 drivers here today that were born in the state of California. Casey Mears from Bakersfield, just doing a heck of a job.
Yeah, and right behind him, lining up, is going to be his teammate, Kevin Harvick. Another solid run for him. So things are looking up for RCR and his group.
And just a little bit behind these is Tony Stewart. That was a great break for him to have that caution come out right as he made that pit stop. Best case scenario for the 14 team.
All right, Jimmy Johnson, the leader. What about Jeff Gordon? Has he got something for his teammate Johnson? They think he does, and right behind him is Montoya.
He had some on that restart right there. That was a great job by Jeff Gordon.
That's about the best you can do right there and not beat the leader to the line.
Maybe 3 wide here in just a second. No, Gordon's able to take control of this right now.
Be 11 laps to go when they come by, and Jeff Gordon takes the lead. Montoya now battling for second spot.
I tell you, Jeff Gordon's going to be hard to beat. Look at this 3-4 wide battle.
Yeah, we might not have seen our last caution here, guys.
Look
wow,
at Boyer and Burden downstairs, and Gordon all the way down on the middle of that white line.
That's where his car's been fast, and he's not going to change that. See Montoya slide wide up in front of Mark
Bush is in the wall.
Oh, trouble.
Oh, there's Casey Kane across, and he takes Biffle with him. Sliding down across the grass here at over 170 miles an hour, and the caution waving again here at California.
Right front will not roll. Now it's rolling.
As I say, business is picking up there as they get down to these final laps. Guys had on fresh tires. Some had fresh tires. Others had older tires on, trying to make that work.
And aside from these two, the guy that hates to see the caution flag most is Jeff Gordon, who got that great restart a moment ago against his teammate.
Man, he was on it. I mean, he didn't beat Jimmy Johnson back then. I mean, it was just less than a foot, but then he would accelerate. Oh, he did.
And now what's he going to do? Is he going to choose the inside on this restart? I have to think so. I don't understand why these guys keep picking the outside.
I'd be really disappointed if he doesn't, but, you know, these guys are the ones driving the cars. We only watch from above here.
Well, I'll show you these two chase cars involved in this one. Top of your screen.
Yeah, that was Kirk Busch getting into the wall. You can see him get it extremely loose. Then he comes back and gets into Casey Kane, who Greg Biffle was just trying to miss all of that and got in the middle of it.
And Kirk Busch drives away. He didn't mean to do that, but he's the one that got loose and caused this. He's pedaling the car hard.
Kurt Busch.
On here, bud. Outside. Caution's out, outside.
All right, from Casey Kane's cameras, his viewpoint of the two in front of him.
You can see he sees that happening. He just tries to get down. He thinks it's okay.
Action left rear.
As Kurt came off the wall, his car was still actually spinning the rear tires and drove him right down into Casey Kane.
Casey Kane was poised to have his 3rd consecutive top 10 finish in the chase after having that DNF at New Hampshire for the engine failure. Now from the Goodyear blimp high above, watch the action here at the bottom of your screen.
Man, it's got to be helpless feeling right there.
Finished watching this. I was looking at the run down here. Ryan Newman, who had trouble as he see this work going on in Greg Biffle's car, but he had that tire problem early in the race and was really battling his car. He's up in the 5th spot now.
And Tony Stewart is in the top 10. So the Stewart Haas car.
Check the hoses. Nothing's going to get on the tire, right? Ain't got a fender brakes broke off, sticking on a tire or anything. Get out.
It's a fire drill down there when you're trying to fix a wrecked car. I mean, you're just trying to do all you can do and try to stay on the lead lap. Just try to get it where it'll roll.
Greg Biffle coming off that 3rd place finish at Kansas. He had gained a spot in the points up to 8th position. And that's what's left of the grass on the front straightaway out of the front of the 16 car of Biffle. Damage on the 9 car. The dodge of Casey Kane, front end damage, right side damage.
I think you need to get that right front fender cleared. Still amazing to me how tough this new car is. I mean, it can really take a beating. See that water coming out of the overflow. They're trying to clean it. You see the grill brush they're using to try to get all that grass out of the grill. That's what's causing it to overheat right now. You can see it's just a fire grill.
Left rear tire. Just make sure that crush panel's not going to get on the tire. Push it forward. Do whatever you got to do there.
That's Kenny Francis, the crew chief, directing all this from top of the pit box.
See right above him, see the 16 coming back in. There were repairs on Greg Biffle's car. So you got both the damaged cars on pit road.
Yeah, Biffle still has a lot of something rubbing there. You see a lot of smoke coming from his car just going down pit road at 55 miles an hour.
They're going to use all the time they can. The pace car is just now into turn 3, middle of 3 and 4, so they can still work for a little longer. The spotter's going to be the one
get ready here,
giving them all the information on where the pace car is. And now the crew chief can see the pace car.
Get the left rear on it. You got the left rear on it? All right, crank it back up. Crank it up.
They will get the one to go. The 20 car got the free pass, by the way, Joey Legato, so he's able to go around and get back on the lead lap. Be 27 cars on the lead lap here with less than 10 laps to go. Let's go down and talk to the leaders, crew chiefs, Dave.
And Doc, as he watches now to see where his teammate chooses, okay, that matters because Mark Martin was running 4th, and now Chad is talking to Jimmy right now. You'll have a teammate behind you, Chad, instead of an adversary. How important was that?
That's fine. As long as it's somebody that'll push like hell, that's all that matters. You know, I mean, we've had a great race car all day long. I just couldn't be happier for everybody over here. You know, Jimmy Johnson Foundation on the race car. They had a great event this weekend in San Diego. Raised a lot of money for a lot of needed people, so it's awesome. It's just it's great to be coming out here and leading laps and running up front. It's what it's all about. These guys have done a great job in the pits all day, and it's far from over.
That's right. Exciting things yet to happen, Jamie.
Well, Jeff Gordon proved he could get up front and run there for 2 laps. Do you guys have enough to do it for 8 laps on this final restart?
I hope so. You know, the DuPont Pepsi Chevrolet hasn't been as good as we needed all weekend long, but hopefully we've got it better here at the end. Picker's done a great job. Jeff's done a great job. We just a win here would be great. It'd be great for the team. It'd be great for me. I'd love it to be a good momentum builder.
I guess I was wishful thinking, Doc. I said last restart. Who knows? We could have a few like yesterday.
Well, we could. And guys, we might mention the 19 and 43, Sadler and Sorensen, 12th and 13th. So they really moved up in there. They are moved up in the standings. You see Dale Earnhardt Jr., who those 4 fresh tires. He'll now be able to restart up there in 11th position. And as I'm watching, the 24 car, guys, has chosen the outside line.
I don't get that. I really don't. I mean, he just beat Jimmy on the inside after Jimmy actually controls the start. He could control the start and start on the inside. To me, I just don't understand why he would choose the outside.
Yep. The more I watch, the less I know. Yep. Anyway, let's see what happens. Maybe it'll work for Jeff Gordon. He's a 4-time champion. He's got a great start.
He's got the start. He's got a teammate behind him, Mark Martin, and he will have it by a couple of car lengths. Look at Kurt Busch on the bottom of the racetrack. And
look at Montoya 3 wide.
Montoya trying to hold the bottom. Jimmy Johnson takes a position. Gordon's got him by 2 car lengths. They were 3 wide coming off of turn 2 a moment ago.
David Reagan made a great move on the outside in that UPS Ford. Best run he's had all year.
Carl Edwards down on the bottom of the racetrack. They're side by side for position. Montoya and Martin now for 3rd spot.
See one of the cars smoking in that group. Here comes Jimmy now. He's still working on it. They come to the inside of Jeff Gordon.
Kurt Busch smoking a lot. He's got damage from that last incident.
Jimmy Johnson goes by and takes a position, or does he, as Jeff Gordon can try to get
trouble.
Sideways down across the racetrack.
I know Marcus Ambrose is involved in that.
Elliott Sadler, Reed Sorensen.
Allmendinger is there, the 31 of Jeff Burton, who was having such a good run. Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Man, a lot of cars torn up here.
These guys were 4 wide just going across the start-finish line. You had to think something was going to happen.
Hang in there.
All these cars that were running 10th, 11th, 12th. There's the 9 car. Casey Kane again involved.
Yeah, this one's going to be a lot harder to fix.
Yeah, I was going to say he won't be involved anymore.
There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. had those fresh tires and was back in 11th position.
They're going to red flag this race and stop him in turn 4 because they've got just so much debris down there on the racetrack. See, Junior, he was driving the wrong way. See Allmendinger out of his car.
There's the 19 of Elliott Sadler, who had driven his way all the way up into 13th position. Let's show you 47, Marcus Ambrose. He was on the inside. He got it, got right side damage. He's trying.
Do not touch it. Do not touch the car. Get in here and look through.
Yeah, that's Frankie Kerr. He's saying don't touch the car because you cannot work on the car during a red flag. It stops everything.
There's the 83 car, damage on the front of another chase contender. Let's show you what happened and how this all unfolded entering turn 1.
You can see there are at least 4 wide here, but it looks like
first contact looked to me like it was Elliott Sadler into the back of Junior.
Yes, I was going to say that's what triggered everything, but they were only asking for trouble at 4 wide. We've talked about how wide a racetrack this is, but
it wasn't wide enough for that. I mean, it's just, you know, these guys are trying to get everything they can and trying to bump draft on this straightaway too.
Yeah, they're just trying to push there, and probably just a little bit too much of a push.
Wow, do you see Reed Sorensen's car came off the ground?
47 car back and forth, bucking like a Bronco on left tires and right side tires.
A really bad wreck for Richard Petty Motorsports. Every one of his cars.
Right there, all 4 of them involved. Yeah. 3 of them piled up in a pile there for a while.
From Casey Kane's onboard camera now coming out of turn 4 down the straightaway.
You can see there are already some rubbing going on coming out of turn 4. These guys just battling as hard as they can right here at the end of the race, trying to get the spots. And now's when it's all going to happen.
Get low, get low, get low. Come through the middle, right where you're at. Keep coming straight, keep coming straight.
Michael Walter drove right through the center of that. You see even Matt Kenseth got damage.
Casey Kane got the back of the 31 of Jeff Burton. Watch him 4 wide there. Oh.
See all the parts and pieces flying off of them?
Well, that's unfortunate. There were a lot of guys that were looking at some promising days after maybe struggling. Elliott Sadler and Reed Sorensen, and have it all to go away. Casey Kane had battled his way up in the top 10 before the last one.
So we go into the red flag with just 5 laps to go, 5 in the distance from where the field is parked in turn 4 to the start-finish line. From the ESPN pit studio, Alan Bestwick, Rusty Wallace, Brad Doherty getting set for what should be a crazy sprint to the finish of what has been a pretty Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon with Juan Pablo Montoya nearby. How about a big tip of the cap to David Reagan, 5th car in line right now. He's kind of come from a long way back today to have a nice showing so far.
Yes, he has. And also Casey Mears. Look at Casey. He's up there mixing it up with the boys today. 2 good runs for those young men. And hopefully, maybe we'll see one of those guys in victory lane here in about 15 minutes.
It wouldn't surprise me if the top 4 all ended up in a smoking pile, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
This is a great shot, guys, for Tony Stewart to redeem himself after that pit road speeding penalty. He's already up to the 6th position right now. He'll be starting probably 3rd row outside. He's got a shot to get some spots picked up.
Tony Stewart hanging in there right now in 6th position. Hey, it's Sunday night. ABC's Desperate Housewives, all new tonight. Everything you expect from Desperate Housewives. Lovers, liars, and alibis.
Yes, sir.
Tonight, an old fling comes back to tempt Gabby in what could be the hottest episode of the season.
Okay.
ABC's Desperate Housewives, tonight, 9 Eastern and 8 Central. We got some desperate drivers on the track looking for a win as they form the field up and we get ready to go. Let's go back upstairs to Dr. Jerry Punch, Dale Jarrett, and Andy Petrie. Pull those seatbelts tight, gentlemen.
We will indeed, Alan. Thank you very much. And it is decision time for Jimmy Johnson. And the guys, the last time Jimmy Johnson restarted on the outside, his teammate Jeff Gordon beat him on the inside. What does he take now on the restart?
That's a good question. I've been wrong every time. So I don't know why you asked me.
What are you going to do?
I would take the inside. He got the lead last time by having the inside there. I know these guys obviously think there's something to keeping that inside guy pinned down, but I haven't really seen that work quite as much. So it will be interesting to see which line he chooses.
Jeff Gordon started on the outside last time, and it didn't work for him. But when Jimmy Johnson started on the outside, it didn't work for him either.
Yeah.
So let's see if he takes the outside or the inside. And Mark Martin is back there hoping, I don't care which way you guys go. I'm going to try to get around both of you and win this thing.
I bet you Montoya is going to make it 3 wide somewhere between 1 and 2.
You can't make a mistake. You know, still 22 cars on the lead lap here, so you got to, you can't put yourself in a position to either get a flat tire out of close racing here or something like that. So, you know, we've already seen one big wreck there. And, you know, that whole wreck there, as we watched that replay, putting blame on somebody there. We said Elliott Sadler ran into the back of the 88, and that appeared to be what happened. But it was everybody bumping. That's, if you've ever heard us say, hey, that was just one of those racing accidents, I think that's exactly what it was. Inside of 10 laps, everybody trying to get everything. We may have another one before this is over.
On pit road, the 29 car coming down. There's Harvick, there's Kenseth, 98 Menard, the 18 of Gillen. There's the damaged car of Biffle in.
It's one to go.
Matt Kenseth on the lead lap was being shown back in 15th position.
Yeah, he had a little damage there from that dust up. We see Harvick now electing to get some tires.
So they will come around and take the green flag with 3 laps to go here at California. These guys getting fresh rubber. Just 7 points separating Jimmy Johnson, right now our points leader, and Mark Martin in second spot in terms of the point standings. And right now they are going to start nose to tail with Johnson the leader, and Johnson does take the inside.
Yeah, and that could all change by the time they get back around here. Mark Martin gets a good start and can make it 3 wide or something and shift Jimmy back a couple of spots, then he retakes the lead.
Points across the top of your screen. You see how close it is. Montoya there. The top 5 just over 100 points apart, folks. That is as tight as it has ever been in the 6-year history of the chase.
Yeah, and Kurt Busch only 121 back. That's certainly not out of the chase whatsoever.
Looks like Jimmy took your advice, Dale. He's on the inside.
Well, I've been wrong before, but I just what we've seen, this inside just seems to be he's going to control the start either way, and I think you just give yourself a better chance from that inside position.
Jimmy Johnson, a
1 and 2,
4-time winner, a 3-time winner here. Jeff Gordon, a 3-time winner here. Who's it going to be? Teammates side by side. Martin behind him. Montoya on a mission. Here they come. It'll be 3 to go as the green flag waves.
Well, Jeff got a good start. I mean, that's a really good start for Jeff Gordon. As good as you can time it.
Tony Stewart trying to look to the outside, falls back in line behind Montoya. Look at Montoya going high.
Now, who can stay in the throttle off of turn 2 is going to be the most important thing. Jimmy slides right up in front of Jeff Gordon.
Clear.
You see a lot of dust flying down in 1 and 2.
Come on, give me 3 good laps.
2 to go this time. Mark Martin there battling with the 14 of Tony Stewart for position. That's 4th spot.
Comes Gordon trying to make the inside work off of turn 4. Jimmy Johnson with a nice run off of that corner.
2 to go this time by. Jimmy Johnson just pulling away now, 10 car lengths over Jeff Gordon. Look at Gordon motoring back there coming out of turn 2.
Kurt Busch still smoking, but going fast. Trying to finish it out.
Mark Martin has dropped back a couple of positions and trying to hang on to that 4th spot as here's Tony Stewart, who has come from a lap down, battling side by side with Martin for 4th spot.
Oh man, look at Stewart sawing the wheel.
Watch out. See him really get loose coming up out of there. Had to get out of the throttle a little bit and fall back in behind Mark.
Here comes Montoya now for second.
White flag, final lap here in California. Side by side action. Gordon and Montoya, second position. Mark Martin is driven now out from underneath the 14 car. Here he comes, trying to be a factor here, maybe to finish 3rd or 2nd.
Now that's say he'll go to the high side here and see if he can get by Montoya.
Montoya's going to try to block, but he
see Gordon all the way on the apron.
Jimmy Johnson coming down out of turn 4. What a job they have done again, and for the 2nd year, make it 3rd year in a row in the fall. Jimmy Johnson wins at California, and Gordon finishes 2nd.
Nice job, guys. Hell yeah.
How about that job? Yeah, the job, man.
So Gordon, Montoya, Martin, and Stewart, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. What a job. There's Rick Hendrick congratulating Chad Knaus. What an effort there for Jimmy Johnson.
For me, with the foundation on the side being at home.
Well, Jimmy just too tough today.
Jimmy, you did a great job today, man. Really good job.
Harvick came back for a top 10 finish after the pit stop.
Yeah, they were still 3 and 4 wide coming to the checkered flag there at the end of the race. A lot of great racing today. Jimmy Johnson, once again, just too good.
David Reagan getting his second top 10 finish of the year, coming home in 7th position. Fireworks going off behind the racetrack. We had fireworks on the racetrack these final few laps. Let's go down to the 48 pit. Vince.
Well, it took a while with several restarts to get there, Chad, but you held off the field there at the finish. What does this do for you guys in your chase for another championship?
Well, obviously, it's monumental. You know, to be able to come out here and run the way that we did, I couldn't be happier. You know, Jimmy Johnson Foundation on the Lowe's Chevrolet this weekend, and they did a fantastic job out in San Diego this weekend or this week, and raised a lot of money for a lot of needy people. So it's great. And it's great to be able to come out here and represent in front of Jimmy's hometown in El Cajon, and it's awesome. I just can't thank everybody at Hendrick Motorsports enough. You guys build the best engines and the best chassis and the best bodies out there, and we couldn't do it without them.
Mark Martin calls Jimmy Johnson Superman. Hard to argue with it today, Alan.
Big celebration now for Jimmy Johnson. You've heard the words from him over his team radio about how thrilled he is to win this race. You heard from his crew chief what it means, and Jimmy Johnson's now the championship leader as he tries for history for a 4th consecutive title. He leads Mark Martin by just 12 points, though.
Wow.
What a tight championship that is.
It really is. And look, Montoya gets another top 5 finish. That's 4 in a row. Jeff Gordon, best run of the season. And hopefully we can keep this thing close going to next week. Might mix it up a little bit. Jamie, you got a little something to add on Jeff Gordon?
Well, he's climbing out of his car right now and a smile on his face. Valiant effort. Probably the best the car had been there toward the end. Jeff, what was it like on those restarts, inside, outside?
We were just trying to make it interesting because nobody else seemed to be able to do that for the 48, and we certainly couldn't on that last run. Great day for our DuPont Pepsi Chevrolet. You know, we really fought hard all day and all weekend to get ourselves in that position, and had a couple good restarts. But I mean, they're in another category, you know, and we gotta find out what we're missing. But real proud of Steve and all the guys on this team. They had great pit stops, very solid effort. Come home second today is definitely something we're very proud of.
And he gained 2 more spots in the points. He is now 5th. Shannon?
Juan Pablo Montoya checking out where he is in the points right now. That was some great racing at the end of that race. What was it like for you out there today, Juan?
It was fun. You know, I was actually very pleased when that red flag came out because we managed to go down the tires a little. And I thought Chevy was good all day. We were really good when it was cloudy. When the sun came out, we started sliding too much and couldn't really find the balance between how much grip I wanted in the middle corner and how much I wanted to put the power down. I just couldn't. There at the end, it cooled down. It got a little better, but it was too late.
All right, another top 5 for Juan Pablo Montoya and the 42 team. Vince?
With Mark Martin, and Mark finishes 4th today, slips out of the points lead now, 12 behind Jimmy Johnson, and Mark just finishing up here. Mark, what was the difference between 1st and 4th today? It was so small, it seemed.
Well, we were real close. I'm real proud of our Kellogg's CarQuest Chevrolet and our team, and these guys are so awesome. They brought me all weekend. Great race car, great job, great adjustments, and you know, we made progress with the race car. And there was a time when we could go out front, but you know, we were right there. I'm just proud. I couldn't be more thrilled to be driving that 5 car.
Jamie?
And Tony Stewart, what an eventful day for him. Ends up bringing it at home 5th. Tony, what does this say about your team? You guys overcame being a lap down and still finished 5th.
This team never quits. It never has. It never will. So, you know, that's the attitude at Office Depot and Old Spice and everybody at U.S. Army and Coke and Stewart Haas Racing. So, you know, just a long day for sure. I mean, we got a couple really lucky breaks that helped us there at the end, getting us back on the lead lap. And, you know, when we were in pit lane there and got the caution set, got us a little bit of that track position back. We had a good enough car to get back. We just fought. We could not get going at the beginning of a run for anything. It took us 6 or 8 laps to get going every time.
All right, Tony Stewart remains 4th in points right now. Alan?
Thank you, Jamie. A reminder that the chase moves across the country for next weekend's race, which is on Saturday night. It's the NASCAR Banking 500, only from Bank of America. ABC 7 Eastern time next Saturday. The very fast 1.5-mile track in Charlotte. One of the drivers' favorites. Certainly provides a lot of great action we've seen over there over the years. And we look forward to that one next Saturday night at 7 Eastern here on ABC. So Jimmy Johnson has pulled into our Transformers victory lane. And the race winner about to celebrate with his team and share his thoughts with us. Jimmy unbuckling, getting done. Rusty, you know what that feels like.
Oh, he's just taking it in right now. He can't believe it. He's so excited. He's got his Jimmy Johnson's foundation on the side of the car. Makes him extra proud. What a fantastic job this guy did. I mean, just worked the track perfectly today. Moved into the points lead, 12-point lead right now. Here he comes, guys.
Well, the colors are slightly different on the car and the driver's suit, but the black and white checkered flag once again waves for Jimmy Johnson. 3rd year in a row at the fall race, Jimmy. And a big hug to the new guy. I mean, I know you had some issues on pit road. It wasn't anything he had to do with, but did that worry you early on, Jimmy?
You know, it's such a long race and so much takes place that and I knew on pit road we'd win some, we'd lose some, and I knew that first stall down at the end was really the magic thing, and Denny had it working great for him. But just a solid day all along. So proud of this Lowe's team. So thankful for Lowe's to allow me to put the foundation on the side of the car, and we had store 2712 riding with us today, so it's nice to do that for them. But man, what an awesome car, what an awesome day. Those cautions at the end really had me nervous and just didn't know what to do on the restarts. 24 would get me on some of them. The 42 was racy. I knew once we had 3 or 4 laps I was in good shape, but there at the end I really didn't have many laps. I'm glad I got a good start and got going.
You are the championship leader. What do you think of that?
Awesome. It's what we want. Keep chipping away at it. Obviously a lot of racing left, but we're in good shape, and my home state, foundation on the side of the car. Fans are going crazy, can't thank them enough, so just really, really happy about what's going on. You guys are getting soaked over here on the side, so, and we're glad that Mr. Hendrick is here. He hasn't been in Victory Lane the last few wins that we've had, so it's nice to have him here.
Congratulations, Jimmy Johnson in Victory Lane.
So the Southern California native is now the all-time leading winner at this track in Southern California, and for the first time this season, Jimmy Johnson takes the championship lead. And now we move on to Charlotte for the next race in the chase. Look forward to seeing you for that one next Saturday night. Thanks for watching.